Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So yeah, let's just get into it. Let's talk about what happened in the market today to Tesla. Not a whole lot. Well, it's like a lot, but not a lot at the same time. So either way, let's just jump into it. If you enjoy, find this video useful, helpful, whatever, if you just enjoyed, please don't forget to hit that like button, guys. It does help a lot. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, all that good stuff. But let's just get right into it. So Tesla, ending the day essentially flat, down 0.05%. So we lost 38 cents today on the day, ending the day at $709.43. So pretty much flat. Now, the one thing that sucks is the fact that we did end lower than yesterday's close, but it's pretty much at the exact level, so I wouldn't really call that like truly below it. It's essentially right at the level. That's fine in my opinion. Now, the one thing that I don't, I guess, like to see is the fact that, as we came up, you can see here, we got straight up rejected by the 5-day moving average. Again, the 5-day moving average, I would say, is probably, it's one of the ways to determine kind of like short-term momentum, if that makes sense, where like if you can consistently be above it, that usually means that it'll have some momentum. Kind of like here, where we closed above, came down, retested it, and then we kind of rallied all the way up. And then we finally closed below it, came back up, kind of retested it, kind of failed, and then we kind of just stayed below it for quite a while. You know what I mean? And there's been a few fake outs here and there, of course. Like this one was a bit of a fake out, I'm not gonna lie. But the point is that we're still kind of overall maintaining, well below it. We want to see something like this, but above it. Oops, sorry. But above it, right? That's kind of what you want to see roughly, I guess, more or less. And that kind of gives us, a better idea and I guess confidence that, there is going to be the short-term momentum is back in the favor of, bulls and going to the upside, all that kind of stuff. But with that being said and done, we did actually go a little bit lower on the day today than we did yesterday, which pretty much straight in the morning, which was, I'm not gonna lie, a little spooky. Definitely a little bit on the spooky side. Not what you want to necessarily be seeing, but it's fine. It's not the biggest of deals. So we opened the day up, pretty much just right here, I believe it was. We fell right down, went all the way down to 694. Thankfully, again, like I said, the most important thing is I don't want to see something lower than 680. If we do, that essentially shows me that the strength is just not there yet. But we didn't. We came back up pretty quickly. We didn't really close like, a fairly long duration-ish, like even a 15-minute candle under that, which is good. And that's not bad. I would say that's fairly successful overall. But the point is that we overall still showed a lot of strength at 700, kind of maintained above it, which is good. The not so good part is the fact that we showed some strength going above 730, roughly, 720, 725, 730, just that general range. We showed some decent strength going above it and then got rejected and slapped back down under, but we did overall kind of maintain this kind of higher low compared to what we had here. Here we were maintaining like 703 roughly on average, and here we started to maintain kind of like 709 roughly, right? Which is good. That is showing a little bit of strength, but just not enough, I guess. There's still a little bit too much uncertainty in the market, all that stuff. So not yet showing the strength, but again, this is essentially what's called consolidation, which is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. What this is doing is that it's kind of letting the stock chill out. We just had violent moves to the downside, even some violent moves up and down, pretty violently, I guess. But the point is that, we're kind of chilling. We're kind of, relaxing a little bit, even though today was still fairly, aggressive up, aggressive down. But the point is that we're kind of, chilling within this range now. We're kind of, going to be here for most likely a little bit, maybe even tomorrow, in all honesty, maybe even Monday. But the point is that as we consolidate, it's going to start doing that thing where it kind of gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And it's like a spring coiling back. And it's similar to what we've seen several times, for instance, right? Like, we see that over here, except this time it went down. We kind of saw that like right here. We saw that like right here, here, right? It's like after a big move, when the stock starts kind of trading sideways, again, that's just literally nothing but consolidation. And that means that, it's essentially building up for the next move. It's bringing back the spring. And the question that you want to figure out usually, my cat is meowing. I don't know if you guys hear her, but the question you usually want to figure out and decide is, well, once the spring is released, where are we going? Are we going up? Are we going down? Again, I've said this several times and I still stand by this. I think we're going up. I really do. I strongly believe that we are going to be going up. Again, that's not, guaranteed. I'm going to be transparent. That doesn't mean I'm 100% right and we're 100% going up at all. We could very well go down. That's definitely a possibility. But as I've said in the past 2 videos already, I've listed several things that I personally believe that are pointing in the direction to the upside. Another, very important one is this VIX, right? The VIX, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit spooky. It kind of went up a little bit higher than I wanted to see. But the point is that it still got rejected and it still fell ultimately back down and underneath this trend that it was in. It came back in, but then it fell back down, which is good. It didn't really close a daily in it. That's like the daily is where like really starts getting spooky if it starts closing dailies within it. It didn't. It came up, got rejected, slapped back down, and fell well below this kind of, you know, wedge or whatever you want to call it that it was in, this channel that it was in so far, which is good. Now we want to see a break underneath about $29 roughly, and then I'm getting a little bit better. I'm getting a little happier. But yeah, so even though the VIX was down, the market was still overall down. So the market is still kind of finding its balance. It's still kind of finding its, you know, its support, its rhythm, if you will, its footing, if you will, you know. And I think once the market kind of gets an idea that, you know, this is maybe the current new low, and, you know, it kind of consolidates for a while without showing more signs of it breaking more down, I think that's when we're going to potentially, same with Tesla, is when we're going to potentially start seeing a move to the upside. Now, we'll see what happens, of course. Now, granted, the longer it takes, the, you know, the lower resistance it takes to reach in order to break out of this channel that we are currently in. So for instance, let's say it happens next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is going to be the 25th of May, right? So just an example, let's say we decide to run up and test this resistance roughly somewhere around there. That'll bring us to about $800, which I think is feasible. Like, it seems pretty like ridiculous from this price, right? It's like, oh my God, we're at 700. How are we going to go to 800? And, you know, four trading days. I mean, that's only a 10% move, which in a normal market, that's a lot. But in a market like this, it's not too much. So yeah, that's essentially what I'm seeing, guys. Again, with the Bollinger Bands, we'll take a quick look. You know, we're kind of, you know, getting rejected a little bit here as well. Maybe we remove the moving average quickly. It's kind of messing with it, but, you know, we're still kind of, you know, chilling in the bottom side. This is kind of moving down even more to the downside. So we'll see what happens with all that. But nonetheless, guys, essentially what I've been saying the past few videos, it stays about the same. Nothing has really changed in my opinion. Again, the only thing that would change to like the downside, to like the bad side, would be if we break below this low over here around 680, if that breaks, right? People were wondering like, okay, well, what if it does break? Where does that lead us? Well, this is where you want to start looking at the next resistance, right? You want to see, okay, well, in the past, because again, we haven't traded in this area for too long under 700. So you have to start looking further back. Where was their support? Where was their resistance? Where was all this stuff, right? So the main one, of course, is being this kind of 700 level. So that obviously we want to hold. But you can see here, there's definitely some potential around 670. You can see right around here. We'll even draw a line for future reference, just in case. You never know. We might, of course, get there. It's not impossible. I would say somewhere around this kind of, you know, 670-ish level. Definitely somewhere around there. You know, we can potentially see a drop. I also wouldn't be surprised if we come down to around potentially like the 630 level, right? There's very little resistance and support somewhere around 650. Not a whole lot, but there's definitely some as well. You can see we kind of have a lot of, you know, sideways volume here. There's a lot of, you know, support over here. It kind of kept bouncing off this 650 level right here. But I would essentially, is the 670 to the 630 level is pretty much the two next major levels I would watch, with potential 650 as well. So you can say 670, 50, and 30. Pretty much the same as 700, just now in the sixes. Honestly, the levels look very similar, just with the 6 in front of it now instead of a 7. But that's essentially what I would personally be looking at if we've, of course, fall below this 680 roughly level. And especially 670, then it would definitely go down to 630. But yeah, either way, guys, that's it from what I'm seeing. I mean, there's not a whole lot to update that I haven't already said in the previous videos, right? It's more or less the same. We're just kind of waiting at this point. It's a bit of a patience game, which, you know, sometimes that's kind of what it is. The volume today is perfectly in line with, you know, the rest of the days, which is fine. The candle for the daily, I'm not gonna lie, is not the best looking candle, but it's not the worst looking candle. At least it's green. Could be worse if it was red. You know, it would be a little bit worse, of course. But again, I would say it's very slightly more bearish than bullish, and all that really tells me is that it might take a couple more days of consolidation to kind of, you know, really find our footing. That's essentially what this candle is telling me right now, and that, you know, it might take a couple more days longer than I thought it would, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. And yeah, we're just kind of waiting. Again, the main thing I want to watch out for, guys, is ideally you want 680 to hold, and honestly, ideally I wouldn't really want to see much lower than today's low, which is 693. But again, the main thing I'm looking for personally is 680. If we break that, that's when you can potentially start sweating a little bit, in my opinion. The RSI and the daily is still looking kind of whatever, nothing too crazy, nothing to report really. Yeah, I mean, it did go lower today, actually. Even though we dropped lower, the RSI kind of went sideways, which is good. You know, RSI is showing a little bit more strength in the stock, but, you know, it's kind of just following the stock at the very moment. Nothing too crazy there. The 1 hour chart you can see here, if we take a look very quickly as well before I end the video, you know, again, showing some solid consolidation. I did talk about the bull flag yesterday, so I'm going to remove these lines for now because there's just honestly a little too many lines and I don't like this many lines. It's a little bit annoying. It's a little distracting, so I want to remove that for now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create this bull flag that, again, I talked about the other day, which is something like this. Right. So essentially, again, what you want to be seeing ideally is you want to see a break somewhere above, let's say tomorrow. Again, pretty much the same level as I talked about, around 735 roughly. Ideally, that's when you kind of break out of this and then you want to hold. But we are setting up essentially, you know, what is looking to be like a potential bull flag, something like that, right? So that's essentially also what I am looking at right at this very moment. So let me know what you guys think down below, but this is essentially what I'm seeing at the very moment. We'll see what happens with that. The RSI on the 1 hour chart is kind of just following the stock at the very moment, but the point is that even though this low over here got us down pretty low, which was right here, it's actually RSI actually set a higher low very slightly right over here, higher than when we were still sitting at 700, literally just 2 hours ago roughly, which is good. That's showing a little bit of bullish signs in my opinion. But more importantly, like I said before several times, is the fact that even though the stock is getting, you know, the 680 drop is not that far from, sorry, this not 680, this 693 rough drop over here, not far from 680, right? That's only 13-point difference. However, with that being said, you can see here the RSI well above what this low was all the way back here when we did drop to 680, which again is showing a bullish divergence. It's just going to take some time to play out, I think, in my opinion. So those are the things I would look out for, guys. That's what I'm personally looking for. So let me know what you guys think about it down below. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, all that good stuff. But yeah, I will update you guys tomorrow again, and I'll keep updating you guys and being transparent. Again, I could be wrong. I'm just giving you guys what I'm personally seeing and my honest thoughts. Could be wrong, could be right. You never know. You don't really know for sure in this kind of market. It's hard, but I'll be transparent. That's the point, right? It is what it is. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.